I'm Jamie Stevens.
And I'm Lauren Imbriaco.
And we're from the FBI. We work at the BAU. I'm coming.
We have 2 new cases. There are 2 serial killers named Ted Bundy and Jeffrey Dahmer.
The FBI assigned Agent Imbriaco and I to read you these profiles, have you diagnose their psychological disorders, and find out why they committed these murders.
So make sure that you're paying attention so you can diagnose them.
Both killers obviously have their own psychological disorders, but there's one big one that they have in common. Can you figure it out?
Here are the case files.
Our first case is Ted Bundy. It says here that Ted Bundy was born on November 24th, 1946. These police reports say he admitted to 36 murders of young women in the 70s. But experts believe his homicide count could be upwards of 100 murders. Let's look into Bundy's past and get to the root of his issues. Around age 3, Ted Bundy developed an obsession with knives and into his teen years would peek into his neighbors' windows. Ted growing up believed that he had great parents and a wonderful sister. Little did he know that his parents were actually his grandparents and his sister was actually his mother. Bundy was a smart kid who did really well in school, but not so much with his peers. Ted didn't know how to form interpersonal relationships and isolated himself all the way through school. His murder started in 1974 where he would lure women to his car pretending to be injured. A couple days after murdering his victims, he would sometimes revisit the corpses and have sex with them. The majority of his victims resembled his ex-girlfriend, tall with long dark hair. He was sentenced to death by electric chair on January 24th, 1989. The second case is a man named Jeffrey Dahmer. He was born May 21st, 1960. He was an energetic child. After his brother was born, he became increasingly withdrawn from his happy lifestyle. And into his teen years would perform surgeries on roadkill he picked up from the side of the road to see what the inside looked like. Jeffrey developed a drinking problem at a very young age. For example, he would bring styrofoam cups full of bourbon into his middle school classes and avoid his friends when they asked him what it was. Coming into high school years, Jeffrey was confused about who he was and he started to become attracted to young men. It was at this time that Jeffrey began having dark sexual fantasies about men where he was in complete control of them. Dahmer murdered 17 men in a span of 13 years. A week after his first murder, Jeffrey took the body that he had previously stuffed inside a suitcase and dismembered it. Dahmer's original fantasies never included cannibalism. It wasn't until his 5th victim that he started to eat them. He was put on trial in January 1992. He was put into jail and was beaten to death by an inmate on November 28, 1994. After reading through this case, Agent Imbriaco and I have a better understanding of what his motives were. Sigmund Freud was a psychologist who focused on repressed childhood issues. My partner and I believe that these serial killers' motives were driven by their repressed childhood issues that they both experienced. The personality disorder that they both had in common was antisocial personality disorder! Along with antisocial personality disorder, Jeffrey Dahmer was also diagnosed with borderline personality disorder, schizotypal personality disorder, and psychotic disorder. Both Dahmer and Bundy were said to be sexual sadists and necrophiliacs. The personality disorder that they both had in common was antisocial personality. Ted Bundy's life I can't do this. Sigmund Freud was why do I keep saying Freud? Okay. I'm Jamie Stevens.
And I'm Lauren Imbriaco.
I forgot what I was going to say already.
And we're from the FBI BAU or whatever. Their names are Ted Bundy. Do it. I need to be serious. There are 2 serial killers. Did I say that weird?
The personality. Bundy had his heart. Okay. Bundy had his heart broken by his college girlfriend, and his victims resembled them. I don't know how to say that.
Oh, yeah. Here are the case files.
I want my whole house in this video. Wait, I already forgot. Okay. Just do it. Just go.
Okay, go.
Okay.
I've already recorded.
Okay. Coming into his high school years, Jeffrey was confused about who he was, and he started to like young men. Nay. I want to talk about